Good morning. How are you? grab a ball if you have one, and your bands, and of course your weights. And I'm going to use these discs today. So if you don't have them or you're not on a slippery surface, you cannot use them. Okay, let's go all the way to the back of the mat. Take your feet to the width of the mat. Bring your hands to your waist and squeeze your elbows together. And then let's fold down halfway and then come back up. And really, while you hold this, try to squeeze those elbows towards each other. Let's do a few more. Okay, now we're going to bring the arms out in front. Let your palms connect. Move your shoulders forward and then retract them. So if you look at me from the side, I'm moving them out and then I'm pulling them back. So just keep that going. Out as far forward as you can and back as far as you can. Good morning, ladies. Move them forward and back. And just sort of keep your feet nice and wide. Try to get length through the legs. And now we're going to hold them back. You're going to open your right arm to the side and then bring it forward and then the other one. And take it back as far as you can, like you're trying to reach for something in the back of your room. Just reach, 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 and then pull forward. And just sort of keep alternating. You can add a tiny little rotation of your upper body if you like. And I like to just have my head follow where I'm going. You don't have to. Okay, one more on each side. Probably feel a nice little stretch through the chest. Okay, relax the arms, shake them out. Take a nice big deep breath. Reach your arms as long as you can. And then do a nice slow swan dive all the way down. Nice and slow. When you get there, you want to let the head relax. Just look through your knees. Try to unweight your upper body. Let's fold the arms and let's stay here for 3 breaths. Okay, release the hands. You're going to inhale to a flat back. So you've got your fingertips on the floor and then fold back down. Let's do that a few more times. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold back down. One more time. Inhale, look up. Now from this position, take your right arm out to the side. So it should be parallel to the floor. Drift your hips backwards without falling. And now try to lift your right shoulder up. And then put that hand down. Left side. Arm out to the side. Hips push back. Shoulder lifts. Keep that going side to side a few more times. Sort of be mindful to not let those hips push forward. You want to be weighting the back of the feet. Nice. Now do a full fold, let your head go. We're going to bring our feet all the way together so they're touching. And you're in your forward fold with your head relaxing. So you can have your hands down on the floor or your fingertips to help you balance. This is a much more difficult position when your feet are together. Now take your hands above the knees and then unhinge nice and slowly through the hips. And when you move through this plane, you want to try to keep equal weight in both your feet. Slide back down. You can take your hands all the way down to the floor, let the head go, and slide back up. And maybe you don't even need your hands to balance, you decide. But it's more about staying nice and square. Let the head go. Now from here, you're going to inhale, look up to a flat back, and then exhale, fold back down. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. Try to keep your legs as straight as you can. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. Walk your hands all the way to the front of your mat. Lots of steps. Once you get there, shoulders are right over your wrists. Your hips are up in line with your back, and you got that belly pulling up and in. Now, please try to be mindful today, never to drop your head while you're in a plank. Now, from here, with your feet together, pull to a down dog. Come up onto the toes as high as you can get, and just hold on that for a sec. Drive the heels to the floor. Push them down so you get a nice stretch in the calves. Come back nice and high on the toes. Push your heels down. Now from here, I'm going to have you bring your shoulders back over your wrists. Hold your high plank. So you're just looking a little forward of the front of the mat. Now we're going to open up the feet to be hip width apart. We're going to have you drive your knees towards the floor. Keep them just floating and move your hips backwards. Come back to an almost straight leg with your heels pushing to the floor. And let's repeat this a few more times. Plank. Float your knees. Hips push back. Straight leg, drive your heels down when you're in the down dog. Forward to plank. Knees float. Hips push back. Straighten out those legs. Heels down. Nice. Back to your plank. Lift your left leg off the floor. Keep your shoulders over your wrists. Switch to the other leg. And just keep alternating. Left leg up. And then right leg up. And then left. And then right. And let's come back to that nice downward facing dog. You're going to lift the left leg up this time. Put it back down and lift the right. Same thing we just did, only now we're in a down dog. So you're keeping the hips even. You're just sweeping that leg up behind you. Now keep both feet down, 4 to 6 inches apart. You're going to pull forward to your plank and push back to your down dog. Do that 2 more times. Now in this downward facing dog, take your left hand, grab hold of the outside of your shin, and then switch. Do the same on the right. And just keep alternating a few more times. A little more work for your lats and your arms. Who doesn't like that, right? Okay, come back to your plank. Let's put our knees down on the floor. Bring your wrists in so they're right under your shoulders. Keep the toes tucked under. We're going to go through some cat-cows. These are at a pace that feels good for you. I like to drive my hips backwards a little bit when I do these. Okay, now let's come to a neutral spine where you're hollowing out the belly. You're going to come onto the tops of your feet. You're going to open your knees to the width of the mat. You're going to sit back on the heels. Should feel good right around the top of the ankle and a little bit into those shins. And then come back up. Shoulders over wrists. Sit back on the heels and push forward. And just keep alternating. It's not a big move, but it's just a good way to stretch out the groin and inner thighs. And if it hurts your knees, you can always put towels down. Okay, let's bring those knees together, tuck the toes under, I want you to take your right hand to your right ear. Now lift the shoulder. So we're doing a little spinal rotation. Your hips are quiet, but you're lifting that right shoulder up. Now take the elbow, cross it over the midline of the body, touch the opposite elbow, and then sweep it back up. And cross, and lift, and cross, and do the same on the opposite side. So really you're trying to initiate this lift of the shoulder. The elbow is going to go along for the ride. Keep your belly pulling up and in. Let's just do one more here. Nice. Come back onto all fours. You're going to take the left leg and the right arm. Extend them out. Bring your knee and elbow to meet in the middle. I'd like you to flex your spine when you do this, and then stretch it back out again. Bring it in, round the back, and take it out. And do that again. In, and long with your limbs. Switch sides. Left arm out, right leg back. Pull it up and in. Really try to lift the knee up towards the chest. You're going to feel your side body muscles working. Nice. Now come back onto all fours. We're going to elevate off the knees. Hold your bear. Put the knees back down. Lift back up. Keep your belly pulling in. And then lower the knees. And lift. And lower. And lift. And lower. Keep your face up. Lift. And lower. And one more time. Lift and hold. Come into a small dog. Heels push to the floor. Just hold here for a little bit and breathe. Walk your feet forward to your hands. You're going to inhale, look up, flat back. Reverse swan dive all the way back up. Flip your palms and reach the arms long. And then relax the arms. Nice job. Okay, that's your warm up. All done. We're going to start with triceps. So whatever weights you use for a tricep kickback is what I want you to hold. You got your feet hip width apart. We're going to lean over and get the elbows up. And then go to a straight arm and then bring them forward. When you come forward, bring them far enough forward that you feel your bicep working. So you go back, little hold, come forward till you feel the bicep, and then back. Don't forget that little pause back there, and I'd like you to do your very best to get your arms straight. Now you want to position your head anywhere where you don't feel your neck. Little pause when you're working the bicep as well. And here we really need to be mindful not to squeeze those weights too much. So it's 3 counts back with a hold, 3 counts forward with a hold. The hold is just a second or two. Try to keep your elbows up. I'm going to do 2 more here. Okay, that's enough for me. Okay, we're going down to the floor for a little bit. I have a ball. If you have a Pilates ring or a ball, grab it. We're going to start by working our inner thighs. Have your band close by because we're going to use it for clamshells. So we're going to alternate 3 sets of inner thighs, 3 sets of clamshells. We'll be down here for a good bit. So Get your Pilates ring or your ball, squeeze it in, just hold it for a few counts, and then release it slowly. So in and squeeze. While you're squeezing, push that lower back down to the floor. So you're doing that little pelvic tilt, and then release. The back can come away from the floor. So each of these repetitions is starting from scratch. There's no momentum helping you here. And release. Squeeze it in. Press your back down. Now, even though the back's pushing down to the floor, I still want you to actively pull the belly down. Release. Squeeze. Give me as much force as you can each time. Release. Squeeze. And release. And do it again. Squeeze. And release. And squeeze. And release. We got one more coming up. Squeeze. And release. Okay. Keep the ring and the ball close by because we have 2 more rounds. But let's get our band. So you're going to sit up. Put your band above the knees. And then turn onto your right side. You're going to bend the legs. You're going to lift your left knee up towards the ceiling without letting that left hip roll backwards. Your feet stay connected. So lift up and then lower down. You can be up on your forearm if you like, or you can be lying all the way down on your side. You can have your head rest on your arms, whatever feels more comfortable for you. The most important thing about doing a clamshell to really target these muscles around the hip and glute is that you need to keep the left hip right over the right one. Even if it limits your range, that's okay. You just want to try to get lots of tightness going into that band and then release it. So make sure you're lifting as high as you possibly can without letting the left hip roll backwards. So make sure when you release, you're letting all the tension come out of that band. Lift, squeeze, hold, and then release it. I'm going to do 4 more here, make them fabulous. And you're moving slow, right? This isn't like speedy fast. Okay, let's switch over to the opposite side. However, you can do that gracefully. Let's get the right bend in the legs, right? 45 degrees. You're on your right hip. Either stretch out or stay up on your forearm, whatever you like. But let's make sure our right hip now is not moving backwards. All you're trying to do is lift your knee straight up. Getting as much resistance into the band as you can. Your feet stay together. And when the work is hard, hopefully this is challenging for you. You've chosen the right band. Remember to breathe, right? I like to give it a good pause at the top to make sure I've lifted it as high as I can. So 4 more fabulous ones. And then we're going to get rid of the bend and come back to inner thighs. Okay, you're on your back. You're getting rid of the band, but you're not letting it go far, right? Because you know you have another round. So we're working on round 2. Grab your ball, squeeze, and release slowly. We're going to vary this round. We're starting out at a pretty slow pace, 3 counts out, 3 counts in. We're going to switch it. In a few more repetitions, we're going to go a tiny bit faster. And when we increase pace, we don't want to lose range of motion. Okay, so here, go a little quicker. Squeeze, release, squeeze, release. You're going to do this for 10 more times. And then you're going to hold it with as much force as you can. Okay, just hold it, squeeze it. Shaking is a really good thing for those inner thighs. Embrace the shake. Now give me a pulse, in an inch, out an inch. Count to 10 slowly, and you're moving back to your band. Okay, release it. Find your band again, wrap it around just above the knees. You're going to start it on that right side. Nice little bend in the legs, 45 degrees out from the hips. So up and down. We're going a tiny bit quicker, but we're not losing range of motion. Don't let that hip pull backwards. You want to lift that left knee straight up. Do 8 more here. So this is the pace. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch sides. Nice little bend going on in the legs. Make sure your feet stay connected. You really need to keep that right hip forward now, right over the left one. Up and down. So good, these exercises. All your little tendons and muscles around the hips, the outer thighs. Just give me 6 more here. 6, 5, make it great. 4, 3, 2, and 1. On your back, find your Pilates ring or your ball. Last round of inner thighs. So squeeze, release. It's a little faster pace, but you're still putting as much force into each one as you can. Now, start your counting now and give me 15. Keep the low back on the floor. When we get through these 15, you're just going to hold, squeeze as hard as you can, and then we'll add that little pulse. Okay, when you've done 15, you're just squeezing harder. Now pulse it. And release it. Last time with your band doing clamshells. Now this time, move it up a little bit higher than just above the knees, but position your hips and legs exactly the same way. It's going to make it feel a little more challenging. You might find that you can get a little bit more range. So work it as best you can and start your 15 count right now. Make sure your head is, if you're lying completely down, just let it rest on top of your arm. Keep your neck nice and relaxed. So we've been busy working outer and inner. We're going to transition when we get down the other side to some bridges and some bridge walkouts. And if you have socks or discs and you're on a slippery surface, we're going to glide. Okay, switch sides. Make sure this time your right hip is nicely stacked over the left. And start to do your lifts. Last 5. And you're done. Get rid of the band. Now I'm going to use my disc. So I'm going to take my mat. I'm going to basically fold it in half. So now I'm sitting on a double mat. It's going to be a little cushier. I'm taking my disc. I'm just going to use one to start. So my right leg, my right heel is on the disc. You're going to lie yourself down. Just get into a normal bridge. If you don't have a disc, you're just up in a bridge. So you're going to slide the right leg out and slide it in while you're in your bridge. So if you are on a slippery floor, you can just have a sock. Slide your foot out, slide it in, or you could always use a towel. You got so many choices. So the key here is to keep pressing your belly down. So you're working your stomach muscles while we're doing this. Also helps you to protect your lower back. You're keeping your hips up nice and high. Now we're going to switch. So either if you're using a towel or your sock, whatever, slide out your left leg, slide it back in. Try to keep this as slow and in control. So you take it out like on 3 counts and you pull it in on 3. Keep your hips up. So you're probably feeling a little bit of that right hammy doing some work to stabilize as the leg goes out and in. Make sure your right knee is not moving out to the side. So you isometrically want to use that inner thigh on your right leg to keep your knee in line with your hip. Okay, now we're going to alternate. Right leg out, left leg up. Keep your belly down. Just sort of go side to side. Now, if you want to amp this up, you could be holding a weight over your hips. Now, if you want to try to go out with 2 and in with 2, you can. You might want to limit your range of motion a little bit, but try to see what happens when you slide both feet out at the same time. And maybe you can slide them both out, and then a modification would be to pull them in one at a time. So maybe we try sliding out together, pull one in, pull the other one in, then slide out and switch your lead leg. We're almost done here. And again, if you're wearing running shoes and you're on a carpet, you step your feet out and you step them in. So it's like a walking bridge. Now slide both out and just hold, toes up to the ceiling. So your butt's off the floor. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, extend your legs all the way down, lower your butt. Take the arms all the way back behind you for a nice little stretch. Point the toes so you get a release into those shins. And now from here, bring the arms up, lift your head, bring the arms forward, Pilates style, roll it up. Open up the feet so you can dive through the legs and round your back. Big stretch for those hammies. Should feel really good. Let's just hold this for a sec. Keep pulling the belly in. Don't let it ever have a break. It's really important to, even throughout your day, especially if you're driving in your car, you want to keep those muscles pulling in. Then eventually they stay in. Okay, walk it up. So you're going to come up onto your feet. We're going to take that mat, fold it back out if you had it in half. So we're going to do a few sumo squats and then we're going to move more back to the arms. So I've got 1 super duper heavy weight. You could hold 2 if you don't have 1 heavy. Your toes are pointing out. I just have a little bit of my heel on the side. So I'm just going to start holding my weight, vertically, which is going to limit my range of motion. But it's a great way to just begin the exercise. And again, you want to be weighting the back of the feet. So nothing in the toes. Butt pushes back as you start to go down. Whoops. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to put my weight down. I'm going to pick it up sideways so I can squat lower. Again, you choose what's right for you. I'm going to try not to drop my face so my spine stays nice and long. And you want to try to avoid folding the upper body over like I'm demonstrating now to get down. You want to try to get down simply by bending your knees, keeping your spine long. Should be feeling all those inner thighs that we worked. Whew. Now, if you only have access to lighter weights, maybe you're holding 2, hopefully. We're going to do 8 more of these. When we get to 5, we're going to try to go just a tiny bit quicker. So here we go. Punch it out. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Okay. Put that beast down. Woo. Little break. I'm going to grab a sip of water. Cheers. Okay. Bicep extensions. 2 weights. Getting nice and low in the back. Past the nape of your neck. Keep your chin up. So we're going to do 10 reps here. Keep going. I'm gonna turn my AC on. Woo. So if you've done 10, bring the weights by your side, right arm forward, left arm forward. Hopefully, since we're alternating, you might be able to use the same weights, but if you need to switch, go ahead and switch. Now here, it's really important that you keep good posture. Don't let the shoulders pull forward. You want to keep them retracted. Your spine is long, so we're always trying to get taller. Your wrists are neutral. You're coming out with a straight arm. Trying our best not to swing the weight. So if it looks like this, you're not really doing yourself much. Nice and slow and in control. Let the weight do its job. Nice job. 5 more. Okay, take the weights to the shoulders. If they're a little bit lighter, just do 2 at a time. Let the elbows come down by your side and then push them up. Standing nice and tall. You don't want the hips to push forward when your hands go over your head. You want to keep your hips nice and solid so there's no movement there. If you can't feel yourself squeezing your glutes, start. I'm going to alternate to finish this. 10 more reps. Going a little quicker. You decide what works for you. Keep your chin up so your neck stays nice and long. Nice. Okay, put them down. Let's come down for 15 push-ups. And that's it. 1 round of 15. We're not going to revisit this again, so make them great. Don't drop the face. It's your chest you're lowering. Okay. Wow, those are hard. Tuck your toes under. Take your hips back so they're just on top of the heels. Walk your hands out for a nice lat stretch and shoulders. So you're keeping the head off the floor. You're driving the armpits towards the floor, but no force. Just gonna hang out where it feels good. Okay. We're going to lie down. We're going to do some chest presses, which are going to feel a little challenging right out of the gate because we've already done push-ups. So we're going to do 1 round of 20 reps. Chest press any angle that you like. So you're in your butt's down, your weights are over your chest. Wrists are neutral. Get 20 nice reps in at whatever pace you like. Make sure the weights touch at the top. Make sure the back of the arms touch the floor each time. working on my last 10. Your pace might be ahead of me. If it is, just chill out and wait for me to catch up. You can bring your knees into the chest and give yourself a nice little back massage. We got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, I'm going to put these weights down, hug my knees in. A nice little reprieve. Okay, quick and easy transition here. You're going to bend your legs, knees over your hips, flex your feet. Let's lift our face and see if our heels are at the height of the knees. So you're in like a sort of a tabletop. Now, your lower back, I'm not sure if it's touching the floor, but I want you to do your best to push it down and to keep that activation of you pushing it down. Now take your hands and put them on your belly and get that belly moving down. Just keep your hands there so you're mindful not to let it puff out. If it puffs out and you can't get it down, you need to take a break and just reset. With our feet flexed and our belly down, in slow motion, we're going to let the right heel, with the legs staying bent, come down and slowly tap the floor. Keep the belly, you got your hands on your belly, and then slowly bring that leg back up. Switch sides. Left one goes down, nice and slow. That means it's more than a 5 count down and more than a 5 count up. And then do it again. This is core work at its best. Super good for you. Hopefully you're able to get that back to stay down. And the belly. Okay, little reprieve before we start to lower both legs at the same time. Of course, your legs are bent. So let's take the hands back to the belly. Press that back down, get back in position. It's going to be a little harder to keep that back pressing into the floor. Do your best. As you move the legs out, the knees go forward. This is what makes it so challenging. And maybe the heels don't quite get to the floor, or maybe they do. But I don't want them to if your lower back becomes with a big arch. Right? I want you to stay solid through your center. Okay, bring it in. Little gentle rock side to side with your knees together. And then change that for a circle. Go the other way. Okay, put your feet down with your legs bent, just like you were going to get yourself into a bridge position. You're going to take your hands behind your head, lift it up, clasp your fingers, let the elbows drop back. So you're holding up a crunch. Lift the shoulder blades off the floor and suck the belly down. Just hold. Chin is tucked. You're just looking forward between your legs. Now, we're going to bring the feet off the floor and our knees are going to roll in to touch our elbows without changing anything else. Just lift your feet up, spread the knees, pull them in to try to meet the elbows without pulling your elbows forward because that would make it super easy, right? And then take the feet back down, still hold the crunch. Yes, your stomach should be pissed off at you right now. We're going to do one more of these repetitions. Bring your knees in, So the low back peels off the floor, your butt cheeks are off the floor. Really, it's a reverse crunch. Put the feet back down. Put your head down, roll the head side to side. Let everything just relax. Now extend the legs all the way down along the floor, take the arms all the way back behind you. Big stretch for that six-pack muscle. If you connected to these moves today, it should feel fabulous. Take a few more breaths. I know we're out of time. Bring the arms forward, tuck your chin, roll yourself up, open those legs and dive forward, rounding your back. Big deep breath. Just hang out here for a sec. Nice. Okay, walk it out. You're going to bend your legs so you come up onto your toes. We're going to hang out on the toes just for a sec. And come all the way back up. Take a nice big deep breath. And I thank you so much for your power and strength. Woohoo! We did it. There are these beautiful ladies.